Hello there. So today's lesson is going to be focused on the mindset. When it comes to money and building wealth, most individuals think and believe that it has everything to do with what you invest in, what you buy, how you invest. But truly, to begin the process of wealth building, even the process of investing, the first thing that you need to do is to shift or change your mindset. You need to be able to adopt or embrace what I call the millionaire mindset. So, why is this millionaire mindset important? You might be wondering. What you think is going to impact what you believe. And until you truly believe and internalize that you are worthy of becoming wealthy, that you deserve to be able to build wealth, and that you will build wealth, until you're able to internalize that, regardless of everything that you do, sometimes your limiting beliefs will hold you back. Throughout my life, I've come to realize that the most powerful thing that you can do is to embrace a positive mindset. Think about it for a second. Let's say you can choose to think positively or to think negatively. What do you think will be more productive? Positive thinking or negative thinking? I think the answer is obvious. Positive. Because it's going to lead you in a direction where you begin to do things that leads you to success. And it's the very same thing with building generational wealth. As I've shared with you in the past, one of the books that have had a great impact on my life is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Notice the title of the book. It says what? Think and then grow rich. What's in your mind is going to represent what you see outward around you. And the process first starts with what you think, what you believe, and then being able to see that materialize in your life. So with that basic understanding, let's go ahead and let's dive in. We are all impacted by how we think about and view money. For example, if you think about money as a source of progress and financial growth, if you view it as something positive, it leads to financial success. Whereas if you have a negative view about money, or perhaps you are fearful when it comes to money, or you hesitate when it comes to money, it often leads to stagnation and an inability to be able to build wealth. Many individuals are walking around with limiting beliefs that hold them back. Often, they say phrases like, people like me, we are not able to build wealth. The system is against us. Or, money is the root of all evil. Rich people are bad. Have you heard this one? Money doesn't grow on trees. Individuals who often say or believe these types of statements, they might not realize it, but they are limiting the ability to build generational wealth. I encourage you, shift those types of negative statements and replace them with positive ones. For example, you can say, I am worthy of financial success. I will strive to be a blessing. Why? So that you can then bless others. Financial success is not limited to just a select few. It is available to all who pursue it. Shift the statements that you make about money and wealth. Make sure they are positive so that you are gradually moving yourself into a place that positions you for a life of abundance. I often share how life for me started in Bronx, New York. I'll never forget this one time I went to Manhattan. I saw this gentleman. He was being driven around in this black SUV. You could tell that this individual was very rich and wealthy. And as he got down from his vehicle, they opened his door. He got out. I looked at him, very well dressed. And then he walked into one of these designer stores, and I was just looking at this gentleman. And at that time, I said to myself, this is what I want for my life. There are individuals who will see rich and wealthy people. Instead of aspiring to be like them, they tend to have certain negative statements come immediately to their mind. Oh, this person probably didn't earn it. Or rich people are a certain way. How can you become the thing that you despise? So even back then, when my family were in the bottom 10%, I used to see these individuals and they served as a source of inspiration. Not necessarily because the person was in Manhattan and walking into, a designer store or whatever, but when you see someone who is rich and wealthy, you can just tell their mannerisms, the way they carry themselves, the way that they speak. It was so inspirational to me. So ever since that moment, I began to envision what would my life look like once I became rich and wealthy. So gradually I started to save up money, started to change the way that, I dressed, started to change some of my mannerisms. I remember reading and watching this video by Jim Rohn, and he said whenever he goes to a restaurant, he would tip like a rich person. And that stuck with me. So what I say is, become the type of person that you aspire to be now. It will shift who you are as a person. It will change your mindset and allow you to easily build wealth over time. Many individuals don't realize the power of the mind on helping them be able to build wealth. It is not only about what stock do I buy, what crypto or digital assets do I own, how often do I invest. Yes, that's important. But who you are, what you believe is true, is way more important than you can ever imagine. So yes, dress like the type of person you want to be like. Communicate like the type of individual you aspire to be. Have the mannerisms of who you want to be. In doing all of these things, it will help you be able to build and achieve generational wealth. So now that I've highlighted how important it is to have the millionaire mindset, I want us to dive into talking about the topic of money and wealth. Many people want money. They want to be rich. They want to be wealthy. But if you were to ask someone, what is money? Oftentimes they'll look at you, often with a blank stare. They've never thought about it, right? Money is this thing that I'm paid when I work this amount of hours, right? So most individuals view money as kind of an exchange for their time. I want us to pause, because if you want to be rich and wealthy, you have to understand what money is. Money is a medium of exchange and a store of value. So yes, individuals use money as a means of exchange, right? You use money to pay for, let's say, goods and services. Also, individuals, as you work a certain amount of hours and then you are paid. So in exchange for your time, you are paid a certain amount of money. So most individuals view money through that lens, right? Just as a medium of exchange. But money is also a store of value. So simply put, if you have, let's say, $100, right? That $100 bill holds $100 worth of value. And you can use it to purchase $100 worth of goods and services. So money is not only a medium of exchange, it's also a store of value. So for most individuals who want to be able to build wealth or have more money, the most important question you can ask yourself, how do I become more valuable? And how do I serve or help more people? The richest individuals in the world are people who are providing more value to others. Okay, so more people, they are helping more people and impacting their lives positively. Okay? So often I say, why do you think a comedian who is doing a live show in a stadium makes more money than a medical doctor? Because ideally you'd say, oh, what the doctor is doing is so important. They should be able to make more money than a comedian, right? But that's not the case. And the reason is because that doctor might see a couple of patients in a day, whereas that comedian in that one moment might be performing to an audience of 10,000, 20,000. Maybe that performance can be streamed across the world. So the number of people being impacted is incredibly important as it relates to the formula for wealth, right? So if you want more money, become more valuable, acquire skills, knowledge, improve yourself. That's first, right? Until you know more or become better, it's going to be difficult to continue or to consistently add value, right? So become better, improve your skills, knowledge, abilities, talents, but simultaneously find a way to help more people. So now you understand money. What about wealth? We all say, oh, I want to be wealthy. What does that mean? To me, wealth is the freedom to live life as you choose, right? You can freely choose to live life on your terms. That is wealth. And to get to that point, obviously, you need to have a certain level of monetary assets to the point where those assets are able to generate you money without you needing to work for it. And that's what you will learn as part of this generational wealth program, how to invest and acquire these assets that will allow you to be able to build generational wealth. As we wrap up, I want to touch on another shift in your mindset, which is incredibly important. I want you to shift from only being a consumer to become an investor as well. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to buy new things or a nice car or, fill in the blank. But if that's your only focus, you aren't building wealth. I often share this story when I was in college. I remember waking up at 4 a.m. this one time. It was around 2008 or 2009. And I went to stand in line at the mall to be able to buy the new iPhone when the store opened. So at 4 a.m., literally, think about it. I set an alarm, woke up, went to stand in a queue in anticipation of being able to buy the iPhone. Yes, I was in that line for about 7 to 8 hours. That, my friends, is a consumer mindset. And there's nothing wrong with the iPhone. But imagine if, even after buying the iPhone, I also purchased Apple stock. Wouldn't it have been beneficial? Apple stock has been growing at a compounded 30% return for the past 15 years. But in 2008, 2009, I wasn't thinking about stocks. I wasn't thinking about assets. I was thinking as a consumer. So I encourage you today, shift from not only being a consumer, but becoming an investor, thinking like an investor, owning assets and properties, things that will eventually lead you to achieving financial freedom. Most people are short-term thinkers. You have to be a long-term thinker if you want to build generational wealth. Everything good in life takes time. If you find yourself rushing, I want this, I want that, I have to get this, or I'm going to day trade, right? You buy stocks, you want to sell it the next day or the next week so you can make quick money. You want to, gamble or place bets. All of those types of instincts for immediate gratification. That type of behavior does not lead to generational wealth. So if you are that way, this is not to pick on you. It's to encourage you to gradually shift to become more of a long-term thinker. Now, I'm not saying that maybe there won't be moments where you would want some immediate gratification. And yes, it's well deserved, especially if you've been constantly a long-term thinker or a person, but in certain instances, right, you do want that nice thing, or you do want that nice experience. Yes, life is meant to be lived. But I want to encourage you to shift more or a decent amount of your focus to thinking and building towards the long term. That is what's going to lead to your financial success. And if I can leave you with these two things, it's this. If there is something you want in your life that you don't have, it's probably because you're missing one of these two things. What you know and who you know is the secret to success. Let me repeat that again. What you know, so the type of information or access to the right information is incredibly important. And who you know is also equally important. So anytime that you're, looking at your life and you feel something is missing, ask yourself, is there something I don't know? Or is there someone I need to know? Or someone that can help? There's a saying that if you are looking for an opportunity in life, often you are looking for a person. People create opportunities. My friend, I wish you the best of luck on this journey to building generational wealth. As I always say, it's truly an honor to have you as part of the generational wealth family. You are going to learn so much, and I look forward to seeing your success.